Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the live show. We are starting a little early tonight because I'm going to be talking to Joe Exotic for part two. That interview is crazy. So if you didn't hear part one, be sure to tune in for that one. But let's just get rolling because I'm going to have to cut it a little short to talk to Joe and get caught up for part two. And let me just make sure everything's working properly because I don't know what was going on with the audio. Okay, it does say the mic is good, so we'll make sure everybody could hear everything. So here we go. Let's get cruising right through and see what's happening. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence, and let's rock and roll tonight and see as far as we can get before I have to hop off and talk to Joe Exotic for part two. And I'm telling you, that's going to be a fascinating one, guys, because I did a bunch of research. I have like 2 pages of notes here, and the stuff he was telling me last time, I wasn't expecting to do a two-parter, but it was so crazy that we have to do a two-parter. So anyway, let's rock and roll, see what's happening. Didn't Wang and Lee just announce a reverse split? And I don't know what I'm typing in there, but let's get to Wang and Lee right here. And did they just announce a reverse split or something? NASDAQ, no, I don't see that. Did they? I thought they did. I don't see it there, but I could have swore that somebody had said that they did. So we will have to keep an eye on that. Didn't Laptop Travel or something? Didn't they just announce it? I don't see it here, but I thought that they did, and it did pull back pretty well right there. So I'm not exactly sure, but we'll keep an eye on Wang and Lee, and it did pull back, and I actually got rid of my position today as it was coming back down just because I didn't really like it right there. I had already sold most of it while it was up, and it was just taking too long. So after I seen it dip down hard, I said, well, that worked out. Sometimes you just go with your gut and read the chart. And it was pulling back, like just kind of flat, didn't look like it wanted to rock and roll just at the moment. And there's some other ones that are really set up here that we probably want to allocate some money. So that one we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on to see if it does reverse split. And yeah, I don't like to hold these for very long. As you guys can see, they go up pretty quick and they come down even faster. So as I tell you, scout out on the way up for sure and get rid of most of the position and play with the house money. Remember, I said that the other day. And then, yeah, you got to get out of these things. After they don't look good for like 3-4 days, don't risk it because there's a lot of other ones that are setting up even better. So we will be keeping an eye on this as they announce that reverse split. I believe that's what happened, and I'll keep an eye on it. So it is pulled back there. We'll look at it and see what's going on in HCTI. Let's look at that one real quick right here, HCTI Healthcare Triangle. And this had a little bit of pullback. It was running up this morning, and that's coming out of the base or the top right there. Looks like it popped back up in the after hours. Let's look at it. It went from 7 to 8.5, and it closed at 6 something. So it did go down. And yeah, that GIBO is a good one today. And yeah, if you were talking about Wang and Lee, Robin, definitely that's like I was saying, don't hold on to these bad boys for very long, especially these penny ones. As soon as they start moving up, let them go, and you'll see they'll come back down just as fast as they go up there, if not faster. This Chanson's still setting up right here and looks like it's curling up to be a good one. So that should be a good one to keep an eye on. Let me grab a pencil here so I can make some notes at some point. Excuse me. And CHSN, definitely keep an eye on that. ABP was jumped up today, was looking great. It ran all the way up to a 45.5 right there for ABP. That was a big guy right there. And still, I mean, it has that look like it might run up early in the morning and then possibly come back down, but it could have one that's just sitting there flat right there. It could get in the top and run some more. We will look at that in the morning, but it could just look at it early too, guys, at 4 a.m. I may be up for that one and to check that out as well. And let's look at that GIBO because it was moving today and it had run up there. It pulled back a little bit and ran up some more. So let's look at it and see exactly what it did here. It went from 7 to 13, as low as 6, and it closed at 8. So it did close up a little bit, but it did run up today. I did see that one. So that was a good one right there. And again, when you see them do this, like 6 to 13, get out of it and watch for that dip and that pullback because it isn't bad at 8, or it could pull back a little bit more right there. And that's GIBO. And let's look at ORIS real quick. Oriental Rise Holdings. This one did pull back a little bit. Was checking this out. And again, this one's just in the basement. We're watching this to see when it's ready. It has a few days right here to get set back up or to set up. You can see it. And so maybe, I don't know if it's going to pull back as low as that 13.5 right there. It's at 15 something, just under 16. So keep your eyes on this one for a little bit of pullback as it sets up a little better. And IXHL right here had run up obviously big time, and it looked like it was trying to curl back up again. So you might want to watch this thing tomorrow. It has that weird look like it opened and closed at the same spots, because it kind of did right there. It actually closed a penny lower, it says. But yeah, I would we'll be watching it, because it had that look today like it was trying to curl back up. It looks like it's still trying to set up right there, and you can see it's trying to get back into the top. So that's what it looks like at the moment. But this market is crazy, I'm not going to lie, and things are going on. I'm just not sure, and we had known this for about 3 weeks now. And we'll go through the SPY Mag 7 and them guys real quick. That's why I'm going to fly right through this list and not talk too much. In QMCO, we'll just look at that. It did pull back pretty big today, and it's coming back down to hit the MACD. So we will see if these things get set up, but a lot of them did pull back. And we'll just kind of look at that QBTS real quick, and that is that D wave, and that was pulling back and still had been looking good there. So most of these guys pulled back a little bit today. And again, I thought the markets were going to be rocking and rolling with that EU trade deal. And when they're not popping off of something like that, you know something really is major is going on, and something to alert you. So that is definitely a red flag right there. Ben had thought the same thing as well. We were talking about on the small cap show. If you didn't listen to the small cap show, definitely check that out today, because we were talking about all kinds of good stuff right there. And Money Mark brought up a good thing, and he was talking about the dollar, and I will be keeping an eye on that. He brought last week that bubble, the 99 bubble, the .com bubble, to my attention, and I'm telling you, it looks like one, and it looks like we could just have a little bit of pullback, and the next thing you know, this market could run for like 2 years, guys. It did it last time in that 99.com bubble. So we'll be watching. I'm telling you, something's going on here. You know, we track the market pretty daily, every day. And so, yeah, we'll be watching that for sure. And like I said, Money Mark, he's a good dude. You can tell he's been doing it for a long time. And yeah, it brings some good stuff to my attention today, and last week as well, and some other weeks. So give him a follow. I know he just said, I think he was approaching 7,000 followers on here. So give Money Mark a follow. He's a great guy and great insight. He's a good fundamental guy. And I definitely I'm telling you, that show is amazing. Just the four of us. Well, other and Spartan today, look at that call he had on SRPT. Real quick, he mentioned this today. Spartan did Spartan Trading, and this thing took off in the after hours, guys. I looked at it because we had been looking at this thing, and I know it had run up the other day and then was pulling back here, and it had been having that look, but he nailed that thing perfectly, and this one should run up some more tomorrow. So you keep an eye on that thing right there. But yeah, great show today all around, and some good picks included, and just a great show. So give the guys a follow as well, and check out today's small cap show, because it was a really good educational one, and that was a fun one for sure. I looked up in like 45 minutes had gone by. I couldn't believe it. So anyway, let's get cruising. Holo right here is just kind of pulling back a little bit. We'll see. It could pull back a little bit more, it looks like, unless we start seeing this China talk and it rolls off. So it has that look. It could go either way, and I bet we're going to see some kind of news. Again, this market is crazy. It's almost a coin flip, and that's why a lot of these smaller caps and other ones, the penny stocks and things of that nature, are way easier right now, as opposed to the Mag 7 SPY in them, because the market's so crazy. And a lot of times when that happens, the money does shift into them things, and they get wild. This UNH, here comes their earnings tomorrow, and it's going to be crazy. I don't necessarily know it's going to get wild yet. You can see the 20 is still up here, like 296. We're at 282. So it has a little bit of time, but you could see it run up to that real quick and get bouncing around. So that's what you kind of want to see before it gets moving. So we're watching UNH, you know that. And of course, our Oscar Health right here. We've been watching this, and it was just kind of hanging out today, not doing a whole lot. But they do have earnings coming up. But look at that on August 6th. This thing's curling up, and I think Oscar is probably a really good one right there. So you might want to keep an eye on Oscar. Obviously, it's got to get through the MACD 20s above it, but not too far. And it doesn't look bad there to get set up for that one. And Clover Health looked like it was trying to get set back up. Wasn't looking too bad, hanging out on that trend line today with the 20 coming up. Their earnings are coming up on that August 5th. They're part of that big crew. And that looks like it wants to roll off and pop up. We'll keep an eye on it tomorrow. Probably have a better idea right there. And GRYP. And what's it called? Griffin Digital, I think somebody said it was. I keep calling it Gryphon, but it's Griffin Digital. And this one did pull back there, and I'm telling you, it's going to get really set up. And I'm actually surprised because it was hanging out on that 20. I thought it was going to stay in this channel, and it doesn't mean that it's not going to kind of pop up tomorrow. But crypto has a weird look too. I'll be honest with you. I know some of the other ones have pulled back. It looks like Bitcoin's still at 118, and we'll go through that real quick in a moment. But yeah, this one has that look. Everything has that look, guys. And again, we've been talking about a little bit of pullback, and I think it will be happening, but I don't think it's going to be a whole lot there, guys. And that's the thing. It's like, how far does it want to pull back and how long? And I don't think you're going to see a correction. I just think you're going to see some pullback on the charts, and these things get into a territory that might be insane. So, yeah, just we'll be watching the market and analyzing it each day, breaking it down, and know what's going on as usual. But you can see something's going on. I pointed it out for the last 3 weeks, and it has been a wild market. And look at this Pew still dipping down. That could be your bottom, guys. And I was looking at it today. I meant to post it on StockTwits, as a matter of fact, because again, they all went nutty the other day when I told them it was pulling back, and then it started pulling back some more. Now, that really could be your bottom today, so we will keep an eye. And again, we just want to make sure it's curling back up. You don't mind grabbing it up in this area as long as you know it's moving up in the right direction and not pulling back and staying in that basement. So PEW, grab a gun, and that one does have Trump Jr. on the board and all that good stuff. And PSQH right here, let's see what this looks like. And it was just kind of pulling back a little bit. I did see it, and we are just pulling back, so we'll watch for that one. Says it was up in a little bit, but in the after hours, but I'll look at it tomorrow. And our SoundHound was actually down as well today. I saw that pulling back, and these things all were looking like they wanted to get set up here, and the market kind of took that look like it had other plans. So they do have earnings August 7th, and we'll see how far. Let's see what this pullback looks like right here. And we'll go through our Mag 7 so you can see what they look like as well. But yeah, they all have a really weird look. So just beware of that at the moment for sure. And look at Gush, who said that oil and gas has been looking good, guys. And I'm telling you, you could tell it had that look, and these things are setting up. I went through a bunch of them today, and they are looking pretty good. So there you go with Gush. And we have been talking about it. And if you just want to look, RBNE, if I could type that in right now. There it is. It was down today, but I think you're getting a little dip and rip action. Look at it over to MACD, still hanging out. That looks like a great opportunity. Looks like people are trying to load up to me or do something, manipulate it to get it at a good price right here. And remember what it did last time. It ran like crazy, guys. It ran up to the 20s, and this thing is trying to get set back up again. So, and something's going on here with oil and gas. So we are keeping an eye on RBNE. And like I said, that could have been a bottom today. It got down to 287 right there. So definitely keep your eye on that one. And this TMDE is the same situation right here. You can see it's going to make that sharp curl up and get cruising, and then it's going to get over this trend line at like $1.40 something, because it's going to be up here, and then it's going to really get cruising, guys. So I'm telling you, just keep your eye on these oil and gas ones. We knew that they were getting moving. And OCGN right here is going to be looking pretty good after this sets up. We know it was pulling back, hitting these trend lines, and this does have earnings coming up on the August 1st, and I didn't notice it was pulled back like that today. Wow, that's a heck of a curl down. and didn't really see that happening. To be honest, it didn't look that bad when I saw it. It looked like it was just sitting there, and I assumed it was going to just roll up, and that rolled down. So actually, it looks a little worse than it did earlier. Has some good trend lines right there and support, but I have to look at that as it's going to go into its earnings right there, and that's an interesting look because it was really setting up and didn't look too bad earlier. But that did pull back. Not sure if it was not really in the after hours either. So not sure what happened there. And OCGN it is. So be watching that to see if it does want to get set back up. I mean, that was a beautiful one already, but it does look like it wants to stay bullish there. And this light bridge had been up today. We were talking about this, and it does look like it is trying to curl up a little bit more there. So we'll keep an eye on LTBR. You can see it was just kind of running around, and it has been just kind of running around right there, but does look like it wants to continue up slowly but surely. Lulu was not up today, and this thing is just sitting there and dipping back down. I thought this was getting set up a little better, so we'll make sure that that's getting ready before we jump into Lulu right here. And it did. It looked like it wanted to get curled up the other day, like right about there. And as soon as it pulled back under, it was like, all right, now we got to keep an eye on it. And we might get that bounce off, but we have to make sure it does want to do it. So that's what we're looking at Lulu and APLD. Good old applied. Hold on. APL. Why can't I type right now? APLD. I'll go back to typing like old school. And there you are. Another one. Look at the setup happening, but pulling back there. Earnings coming up at the end of July, and it is pulling back. So a lot of these had a crazy look today, guys. I'm not going to lie. And the whole entire market looks a little bit crazy. And we've known that for about a week or two now. And now it really looks crazy. So now do you see why I had a little bit of caution going on before and now, especially because this market is wild and you just don't know what's going to happen. The EU news was huge and the market barely reacted. So you know something's going on. And it's not usually something good when something like that happens. SNES pulled back a little bit. We figured it might pull back to this trend line, but still could get set up there and run up. So not looking bad there from the Sinestech. And we will look at what we're talking about today. And obviously Ben was all over that early. NCNA right here. Let's see, because this was setting up right there, a little healthy pullback. It did run up today. I know I did see it up a little bit. It wasn't anything crazy, but it is getting set up into this channel. So a little bit of pullback right there. And I think you will see a setup happen. But again, this market's a little wild. So we're keeping our eye on everything. This one Michael Anthony brought to our attention the other day, CNC Centene Corp or something like that. I don't know what it's called, but this one's going to get set up here. They did have bad earnings, I guess, because it's a red one, and it does look like it's trying to get set up. So I've been watching it. It hasn't been doing anything yet, and we're waiting for to see that curl up and get out of the basement and just start to make that move, because that'll be a pretty good one. And CORZ is Core Scientific right here, CORZ, and this thing is trying to get set up. It was down just a little bit. Maybe you see a little more pullback right there, possibly down to the 50. Didn't look like it before today, and then all of a sudden today, they looked a lot worse. But again, that can change, and like that, we've seen it happen a million times in this market, especially. And how about that BMNR? This one is the one that has all kinds of what is it? Was it Ethereum? I couldn't think of the name. I did that last time, but it is Ethereum that they have a bunch of, and their treasury, and it is pulling back. This is that one, I think was Tom Lee or whatever, possibly, I forget. But anyway, it is pulling back here, and another one we might see come down. So we might get some great opportunities on these things. And remember, I've been saying that. That's why you got to be a little patient. This OKLO is a nuclear one, has been running up there, hitting the top and just kind of flattened out. We'll see if it can get into the top. It looks like it's going to want to, but we've seen things pulling back now, so it's not a definite. LMT, Lockheed Martin right there, was up a little bit. This thing's going to get set up. Of course, aerospace and defense is looking pretty decent. And GSIW, that Garden Stage, is still down there getting set up, not looking bad. I'm tracking that one right there. And in this intensity thing we've looked at for the last few nights, it was starting to curl up yesterday. Did run around today a little bit. You can see it was running around and not looking too bad. So keep an eye on that. I know somebody had mentioned it a few times before and then started to look better last night. I'm not sure what's going on there, but let's go, Trend Spider. We don't have time tonight to mess around. So let's go. Here we go. And INTS, here we are. And there you go. And like I said, it does look like it wants to get over that 50 right there. Was just trying to show you. So that is what it looks like. And BCTX, let's see, what is that one right here? Oh, that Bria cell looks pretty good right here. Look at that curl up. And that thing looks like it wants to get ripping. So might want to keep an eye on BCTX. That thing does not look bad. And this one did rip. PFSA, Profusa. Look at that thing today, over 185%. And it did go ripping. And remember, we were looking at that and it was getting set up. Looked like a shell company. So there you go. And BCTX has a pretty similar setup right there. And this SQ, hold on, SQNS, is it? Yeah, that's it. That took that huge dip right there, and we'll see what it wants to do. And has earnings coming up at the end of July. Has that trend line, could come back down into this one. So we'll see if it's a better price down there. And that one did take that big dip. ARM was not looking bad today. That's up, and that looks like it wants to move as well. So just keep your eye on that. This one looks pretty good, guys. XXII. And this thing looks like it wants to start curling up. We were looking at it. Tobacco company was up a little bit today, as you can see. But that has that set up right there. That's looking pretty good. So you might want to keep an eye on the 22nd Century Group right there. I do like that look. And TNFA wasn't looking bad either, and it was trying to move and starting to move in the after hours. So take a look at this tomorrow, and that's starting to curl up right there. So that was a good one. This Raya is way down there, so we will be keeping an eye on this thing as it's pulling back. It's just not ready yet. You can see it still has some time to set up, so we don't want to jump in it too early. And this X4 is another one that Spartan mentioned today and was looking pretty good running up and appears to be curling up right there. So I do like that one. And then we already looked at that SRPT. That Spartan gave that one out also. And again, that small cap show was great today. And there you go. And that one did rock and roll in the after hours if you want to see it, because the FinViz doesn't give you that look. But here we go. And look at that bad boy jumped right up there. So there you are, everybody. And that's what it was looking like. And I'll run through, do our SPY Mag 7 big caps real quick. We have time. We'll go through our laptop travel and Jolie's jams and everything else. But I do have to hop off a little bit early, obviously, because I'm going to be talking to Joe Exotic, and he's calling from prison. So I got to make sure I'm kind of ready for that call, and we can do our part two, because I'm telling you, that's a crazy interview and conversation right there. And we're all about some crazy stuff, and that is crazy. I'll tell you what else is crazy real quick. I'm telling you, my finger, I'm actually showering now without it wrapped up at all. And I'm going to be sleeping now because the bandage fell off last night when I was sleeping, I guess. And I woke up, it wasn't on. And I was like, well, I guess I'll be sleeping without it too. So talk about healing fast. I mean, it's not a pretty sight, don't get me wrong, but holy cow, I've never seen anything like it in my life. That's for sure. And it is like a medical oddity to me. I mean, that thing was showing my bone, and then all of a sudden, just a little over 2 weeks, hasn't even been 3 weeks yet, and the thing's like scabbed up, healed up, not exactly all healed, but I mean, you're talking layers of skin, covered the bone, everything. I mean, it's pretty fascinating, guys. I've never seen anything like it. I could promise you that. And you know, I've seen just about everything from my stories. But anyway, let's roll. Our SPY was up. It was down today. It did close down, went up a little bit in the after hours. It's in the top right there. And let's just go through, because that SPXS Laptop Travel keeps telling us these options are really cheap down here. And look at this thing. I was talking about it today. It looks like it wants to get curled up there. And again, it may not go haywire crazy, but you're going to get these pops, and it could be just enough just to let that market pull back and make enough room on it, because when it wants to get ripping, and if it does this little bubble that hasn't done it since like 1999, guys, was the last time. and it is a perfect formula. Money Mark explained it all today perfectly. So just listen back to the small cap show and listen to what he said. And yeah, I'm telling you, I was looking at these charts throughout the week because he brought it to my attention. And obviously, you guys know I like to look at stuff like that. But yeah, it looks pretty wild. I'm not going to lie. And you could tell something's going on. Look at this VIX, the way it's running like this, guys. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You know, something's about to happen here. And it doesn't, it wants to run up, but it just, something wants to happen. I'm telling you, something wants to happen. When you can tell this look, you can't pinpoint it just yet. And he was talking about the US dollar. And let me go back for a second. You can see it's up today for sure right there. And it was curling off the MACD. But what was really interesting about it is, check this out. The US dollar is like raging today. And then look at Europe, dip down. Japan, dip down. Germany, I think that is dip down. Canadian, I guess. I don't even know what all these countries are. I don't know what that is. I think that might be like Australia. I have no idea. I have to open them up and look. Does it even say? I'm sure it must. NZD. What the heck is it? Oh, New Zealand. It does say it down there. So this is New Zealand right here. And I'm guessing this is like Australia, possibly. Yes. Okay. So AUD. What's CHF? I don't even know what that is. Swiss franc. So there you go. It's CHF. Now I know. And anyway, so my point was, look at all these jumping down like that. Bitcoin just maintaining itself. But look at the USD popping up here. So we were talking about that today. I think you are going to see it pop up a little more. And when you see this thing come back down, that's when you're going to see the markets get ripping, guys. Like everything's going to turn around and get wild. And yeah, you can see it popping up right here. It just ran right through. I don't know if it'll get up there. I have a feeling you could get up into this 100. You could even get up to this 101. Maybe it wants to shoot up there. I don't know. We'll be watching it tomorrow. I haven't really watched it much, but we will be keeping an eye on it because it will kind of tell us a lot right there. So just interesting things to look at, and we are keeping an eye on everything in this market. So let me just run through real quick, see what's going on, and let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. And Apple's still hitting that resistance. Like I was telling you, it's going to be hard for it to get through. July 31st is its earnings date. And yeah, it still doesn't look like it wants to get through right at the moment. So just letting you know. And Amazon right here was up a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And another one July 31st. So you're talking two big earnings on Thursday right there for sure. And like I said, this one's just kind of going up, but not getting into the top. It doesn't look too bad right there. But I mean, is it going to really get into that top? I don't know. You see something happening here. So we'll be keeping our eyes on these and going through them multiple times, as I have been like every day. And you just can't get that exact idea of what's going on. So, I'm trying to figure it out. You know that, but these things are going all over the place. Let me just X out one of these. It's messing me up. And here we go. Amazon, there's Google right there. That was down, pulling back. Had to look good. It's in the top. Will it stay up there? I don't know. It's like a coin flip for all these guys right now. And Meta looks like it wants to crawl up, but I really don't think it's going to get through that 20. So I really don't think that they want to run and get popping at the moment. Although NVIDIA is still running up there, so maybe it drags the rest of them up. It's kind of crazy what's going on here. I'm not going to lie. And you see, this is why we're talking about this whole bubble forming right here, because it is the perfect recipe with the whole AI and everything like that. It's pretty wild to see these charts the way they are. And there is Tesla. That's not Tesla, is it? And that's Tesla right there. And it was up a little bit. Hitting that resistance, you're probably going to follow this pattern where it comes down and keeps rolling. But look at it trying to roll up there. So maybe it blasts through tomorrow. It has an interesting look. I know I was looking at it today, and you can see it getting through. That's going up. Tesla looks pretty strong to keep running, guys. So keep your eye on that. And that's your Mag 7, and I'll run right through the other ones real quick. AMC right here was pulling back. And GameStop, whoop, that's not GameStop. GameStop right there was also pulling back, but hitting that trend line. We'll see if it can bounce up, or if it's going to come back down to that 2210 area right there. It could come back into that one. And we'll see Chewy had been setting up as well. And you can see this one looks like it wants to roll off the bottom there, but it's a little bit flat today, so it wasn't doing a whole lot. So maybe it doesn't want to roll yet. Unity does look like it wants to roll back up, but I don't trust it 100%. We'll have to look at it tomorrow right there. And Netflix, let's look at it down. And this one still has that look. Remember, it was pulling down and pulling back there, and it still could go down right there. So Netflix could dip a little bit more. So I'm not so sure that's ready to go up. And AVGO, I don't know what I'm typing in tonight, but anyway, AVGO right here was up a little bit more. And the video was up, and I'm not so sure it wants to get back into the top, and we could see them start to retrace. But again, these things are so crazy. Look at MU just hanging out right there, holding itself up, and it looks like it wanted to dip down, and it's holding itself on the support line. TSM, not too bad. It's running up there, just a little bit of pullback, and not really that bad right there. So I'm telling you, things are definitely crazy right here. And SMCI, that went ballistic today. Remember, we were saying it looked kind of good. Their earnings are August 5th, but the rest of them, and I would keep an eye on that for some momentum tomorrow. That's for sure, because that looks like it wants to run some more. And AMD right there was up and looking pretty good, and looks like it could keep that momentum as well. And here's QCOM, and that one looks like it wants to keep that momentum. So them three right there don't look bad, that's for sure. And then you have Snow right here, wants to try to set up, but I'm not so sure it's ready to or wants to exactly. It has that look like it should, but again, this market's so crazy that you're just not sure which way everything wants to go. PayPal had been looking good. It's been staying up there. And when is their earnings? July 29th. So they're coming up tomorrow. And I don't know if I'd be really pushing the envelope with their earnings right there, but we had it going up, and it did run up for us. And Intel right here, INTC, has been pulled back for the last 2 days and still back down there. So we'll keep an eye on that to see when it wants to get set up. Dell is looking pretty bullish right there. I'm not going to lie. Not exactly sure what the heck they have going on today, but let's see. Exceeds market returns, and I don't know if they even had earnings or anything, but it does look pretty good for Dell at the moment, I must say. And let's take a look at that IBM, because that looks a lot better, and it looks like it could have bottomed out and is starting to crawl up. So keep an eye on IBM. That could be a good setup going forward. And PLTR was up this morning, remember, and now it's pulling back there. Their earnings are August 4th, and it does have that pullback look, but a lot of support underneath. So we'll have to see what it wants to do as it approaches there. And Sophie came out of the top there and is pulling back. And they do have earnings coming up tomorrow as well. So that will be the Sophie earnings party tomorrow for that one. And let's see what our Mara and Riot are doing right here. Mara was down, and it's just kind of hanging out there. When's their earnings? Because they were coming up the end of the month. Yeah, tomorrow. Mara's tomorrow as well. Oh, my. And let's see. Riot, I think, good. There's tomorrow as well. They usually are around the same time. Nope, theirs is the end of the month. So they have them at July 31st on Thursday, and Maris tomorrow, and Riot's just sitting there in the top. It does look like it wants to pop up a little bit more right there, but I don't know if I would really trust it. And how about Clean Spark? Do they have earnings coming up? Not sure. They already had their earnings, it looked like. And that looks like it could be getting pulled back down a little bit from that look. So I'll be watching them things. And let's see what our MicroStrategy is doing real quick. And that's pulling back. It was setting up. So again, this whole market looks crazy, guys. And Robinhood right here was going up a little bit. And let's look at Coinbase and see what they're doing right now. That was dipping down. I knew one of them was dipping down. So his coin was dipping down. Robinhood was popping up there, not looking too bad. And what was Bull? Wasn't that pulling back? Yeah, that would pull back a little bit today. I do remember them. Space right here, SPCE, Virgin Galactic, that had been running up. It looks like it's pulling back. And good old Boeing right here had been running up. And that one does have earnings, aren't they, tomorrow as well? Yeah, they are tomorrow. So there's a lot of good earnings tomorrow, a lot of craziness going on. and we'll be all part of it and watching everything. So DJT right here trying to curl up, and it doesn't look too bad. We've been watching it, and it did come back to that 20, so we'll have to see what it's up to. And of course, fun. We always watch this with DJT, and this is just sitting right there. It's not really ready to do much either. And McDonald's right here, MCD. That looks pretty good, guys. Might want to keep an eye on McDonald's. And what is your Disney doing, Luis Rodriguez? Pulling back there really nice. So there you go. There's your dip, Luis Rodriguez. And they do have earnings August 6th. So there you go. And good old Oxy right here is setting up, guys, just like I told you. DXYZ, I just jumped over, but that one's flat. ExxonMobil is what I meant to do, and that was set up. And Nike right here had been running up and looking good yesterday. So there you go with them. I'll run through the messages. We'll have to do, I'll do the Joe Lee's Jams and the laptop travel list probably tomorrow morning for us, just because I want to go through the messages and then hop off, because I don't know exactly when Joe's going to call. It can be anywhere around 9. Again, he's in federal prison, so it can be a little bit before or a little after, so I gotta just make sure I'm ready for that call. And here we go. So ETF 500, let's look at it. Let's look at crypto real quick. I'll just take a quick look, and there it is, pulling back. Like I was saying, it was at 118. Now it's at 117. You do have a little bit of pullback. Look, it's sitting on the 20, and it could be pulling back a little bit right here. They did run way up. Ethereum still doesn't look terrible, but could cross through coming down. I know Solana was pulling back there, hitting the line. Looked like it wanted to go up today, but everything did seem to want to pull back. I'm not even exactly sure. There you go with Ripple, and that one could pull back a little bit harder right there. So they do have a little bit of a pullback look at the moment. And I know ETF did take a big pullback too. What was that, like 1.6 or something? It was way down there. And just kind of cruising through and taking a look at all these, and they all did pull back. Chainlink's about to come back to that 20 as well. So very interesting what crypto looks like as well right there. And let me see if this pops up, and I'll tell you real quick if it does. But let me see. And anyway, so that is your crypto right there. I'm not sure why it's not popping up, but here we go. Let's just take a look and see what you guys want to see real quick, and then we'll see what's happening for tomorrow. 1.5, I think it's at right now. So yeah, that pulled back quite a bit. I was saying it kind of needed oxygen right now, so I'm not sure what's going on there, to be honest with you. And that one is a big pullback. And let's see what's happening here. And that is your ETF 500 there, Zach. Definitely could look a lot better at the moment, that's for sure. And let's see, anybody want to see some fireworks? Tune into the UNH earnings tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., Luis Rodriguez said. So there you go. UNH earnings are tomorrow morning. A lot of people are on that one. GIBO is a good one today. And how about AMD, SMCI, and that SMCX we've been talking about, and they were up. And what's going on with Remark right here? I'm not sure exactly. Let's see what's happening. And this is Remark, and wow, that one's trying to get set up. It's been running up right there. I know it's an OTC now, and at least I think it is, right? I don't think it comes up anymore. Yeah, it didn't come up, I remember. And let's see what's happening. Does look like it's way down there, that's for sure. It's a 0.02. Oh wow, 0.007. And that's where it came. Oh wow, that did come back down quite a bit right there. I'm not even sure what's up with that thing. It went to OTC, and it's pretty beat up, huh? I haven't really been checking it out, but SPXG right here. Let's see what that's doing. Wait, you're talking about SPSX, and we already looked at that. And like I said, that one's going to be a pretty good one. Yeah, hedge position in that one right there. And like I said, definitely has that curl up look. Zach liked the small cap show today, so thank you very much, Zach, for tuning in and enjoying that show. I thought it was a pretty good one. Oscar has over a 30% short interest. It can squeeze at any moment, and it is pretty crazy looking. And Laptop Travel revealed the details with that Trump connection too. So in Oscar, and he has the SPX calls as well. Laptop Travel, a lot of volume in that SPX January 26th 5 strike calls. So there you go, over 20,000 contracts with open interest right there. And yeah, that is SPXX. Bitcoin is flatlining for sure. Adobe starting to crawl. Let's check it out because it was down a little bit there. ADBE, and that one is going to be starting to crawl up there. You're absolutely right. That 20 is getting to be in the right spot for ADBE right there. So I'll keep that on the list, ADBE, just to watch that for when it gets set up because it's been down there. And Luis Rodriguez said he did post the earnings calendar. Here you go. I'll repost it. It has about a million things on there. So I see waste management, all kinds of stuff going on. So it is a crazy one. That is for sure. And let me just cruise right through so I can hop off, get ready for Joe Exotic and MDAI, Zach. Let's see what that's doing at the moment. MDAI, and if anybody wants to see anything, just post it in real quick and we'll check it out. MDAI, Spectral AI. That one actually looks pretty good to curl up. I like that look right there. MDAI. Let's take a better look at it and see what it looks like. Holy cow, how did I come up with that one? MDAI. I can't wait until I can actually type with my finger. But yeah, this one looks pretty good, I must say, Zach. So I'm going to jot that down. MDAI, take a look at that. Let's just go through the market real quick, see what's happening, and then I'm going to hop on off, get ready for Joe Exotic. And I'm telling you guys, if you didn't listen to the first interview just the other day, this is the second time I interviewed him, was the other day. I had interviewed him on the inauguration day, as a matter of fact. And so if you didn't listen to the other days, listen to it. It's a crazy thing. I mean, he starts talking about this wild stuff. So I was like, holy cow. And then we got talking, I guess, for like 35, 40 minutes, and probably could have went for a lot longer, but he said, hey, check the stuff out and then we'll talk again. And I needed some extra time because there was so much information and I wanted to get it all right. I have 2 pages of notes here. I don't even know. I was trying to get it all organized. I'm like, how the hell do you even organize this? Because you don't know what the heck you're going to be talking about. But I do have a ton of info, and it is pretty wild information. I'm not going to lie. So I'm looking forward to talking to him because it's crazy. I'm just kind of looking at the market right here. We know that GIBO, HCTI was pulling back some. NCNA is not looking too bad right there. That one ran up. VWAV today, I did see that Vision Wave opens just pulling back. GTI is not looking too bad right there. And let's see what else is going on. That PFSA was running up. And there's our Wang and Lee. I think they had a reverse split call. I'm not even sure. We'll look at it tomorrow. But yeah, I'm telling you, this market's a little odd. And that vape did run up today with some kind of news. I forget, with the Juul. And let's see what else is going on. There's AIM right there. They must have AIM. Yep, I know which one that one is. And ANGH was running up today as well. And let's see what else, that Perfusa or whatever it is. Yep, there it is. That was running. True Goff was up a little bit. We saw that yesterday. Cask was trying to run up. That's way down after a run up. SMX still kind of running up. And there's that XXII. That one's looking pretty good. And this one's an aerospace and defense one, SIDU. Not looking bad there. So there's a few of them for us. And GIBO, we knew that one. So there you go, everybody. And all eyes turn to China tariff talks. And the market's wanting one thing. Stock futures are a little changed after S&P 500 ekes out another closing record. And the EU to buy 750 billion of U.S. energy products. Why is that? Why that's absurd. S&P NASDAQ again close at record highs, trade choppy, and the S&P NASDAQ edge higher to new records after that U.S. EU trade deal. And still the market was choppy as hell. Hard to see what the heck's going on there. And Joe P did want to see RKLB, is that Rocket Lab. And that one does look like it's pulling back. Actually, I think somebody asked about that one earlier. As a matter of fact, maybe on stock twits, but yeah, that one's pulling back. You at least have your 20 there, but that could pull back into this channel right here and stay in there. We'll have to see as it approaches that 43, but I would assume it's coming down, and it does have earnings coming up on August 7th, so you still have a week away. I'll look at it tomorrow and see what's going on there, Joe P, for that one. And I think that is everything. And I'm going to go ahead, get ready, like I said, for the Joe Exotic call. I'll put that video together tonight so you guys can check it out in the morning. So again, if you didn't listen to the interview the other night, check it out. It's on my X, it's on my YouTube page. Go ahead, follow along, subscribe, check that video because it is a crazy interview. So if you watch the Tiger King on Netflix during COVID, take the 30 minutes and listen to what he has to say because it is crazy. It's crazier than that whole entire series was. And tonight's call is going to be real wild. I can already tell you that right now. So it's going to be a crazy one. And that's why I said I got to definitely be ready for this one because I had my jaw dropped last time on the last call. I was like, holy cow, this is some crazy information. And literally, guys, I'm not even kidding. I just have like pages of information over here. So it's wild how much info I just been looking at for the last like couple days and writing stuff down, and I handwrite all my notes. I don't know why, but that's how I do it. So I've always done it that way. EL, Estee Lauder right there. Look at that thing breaking through. Elf didn't look too bad the other day either, and it was running up a little bit and still doesn't look bad. Check out Elf right here because that thing looks like it wants to run, as a matter of fact, Luis Rodriguez. So keep an eye on that. And there you go, everybody. I would say that's a good market review, not the solid one that we always do, but a good, quick one. And I am going to go get ready for my interview with Joe Exotic. So I'll keep you posted with that, or keep you updated with that. It's going to be a wild one. That's what our market looks like. We'll be back at 7 a.m. to go through the market in the morning, and it's going to be another interesting day. I really thought it was going to be neon green today. Ben had said the same thing on a small cap show. So when that happens, guys, something's going on, and you better be cautious and careful. And that doesn't mean there's not going to be some poppers like we're seeing. Some of these small caps like ABP today, GIBO, and some other ones are going to run. So let's just attack them, but in and out, guys. Just trade smart, lock in those profits. That's why I keep saying it. Just get out of them. They're not going to go up forever. I promise you. They go down way faster than they go up. And sometimes they take 2-3 days to go up. And once they do, that's probably it for it. So don't think that every one of them's going to pull this massive move. Just compound them, and you'll see your account grow faster than if you try to hit grand slams. I promise you with that. And there you go, everybody. I'll leave you with that insight. And all information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only, not intended as financial advice. So always do your due diligence. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in and posting stuff. And we'll have a nice little pre-market show tomorrow. We'll check everything out. We'll look at the laptop travel list, our Joey's jams and jumpers and all that good stuff tomorrow morning. I'll run through it all real fast, and we'll see what's going on with the markets. So until then, 7 a.m., I'm going to go talk to Joe Exotic, and this is going to be a wild call, guys. So I'm pretty excited about it. And so I'll keep you guys posted, obviously, and I'll talk to you guys in the morning at 7 a.m. So enjoy the early night tonight. We don't have many of these, huh? And get some rest. Enjoy your summer evening. And I will see you guys in the morning. So have a good night, everybody.